My colleague who spoke on the budget debate for the Trinamool Congress made 5 broad points. I do not wish to touch on any of those points today and instead focus our comments, direction and suggestions on the finance bill. The 5 broad points made by us in the budget's debate was: 1, to seriously consider the recommendations of the Finance Commission, which recommended that there were 3 debt-stressed states of Punjab, Kerala and Bengal. 2, the second point we made was that the debt moratorium on Bengal for fiscal imprudence, which has since changed to fiscal prudence. The third issue we raised was a big issue of black money. The fourth was of sharing of taxes between the states and the center. And the fifth, all of our focus there in that speech was about the 1/3%, the 33% of India, the poorest of the poor. In the finance bill, we will restrict most of our comments to the middle class. 160 million a few years ago, which will probably become, as per estimates, 270 million in the next 1 or 2 years. 270 million, equivalent to the populations of Brazil and UK put together. This middle class typically is divided into 2 broad ways: the seekers, who earn 2 lakhs plus, and what they call the strivers, who earn a little more than that. And I think in this budget, if you really look at it, we were trying to put it in a mathematical formula. This is what the formula looks like. PC equals AJ equals 4.1. Now, this basically means, first let me dwell on 4.1. The Congress a few months ago came up with the 4.1 fiscal deficit number. The current government has stayed with the number. And this has been an opportunity. If that number was not stayed with, this was a great chance to take some of the stress away, some fiscal space provided, so the middle class could be the benefits, because the middle class have been suffering double-digit inflation for the last 6-7 years, and in the last 2-3 years, total absence of jobs. But maybe the finance minister, in his wisdom, didn't want to go with 4.1 because he thought the markets would tank, credit rating agencies would downgrade us, and corporates would find it very difficult to raise money from abroad. However, this was a golden opportunity lost because, as I said, if PC equals AJ equals 4.1, the eventual winners were the Babus of North Block. So, now to get to some specific proposals. So, the first one, service tax. Service tax contributes 60% of GDP. I'll make 5-6 quick points, all in the time permitted, sir. So, service tax contributes 60% of GDP and 12% approximately of direct tax. Very good. Some people are left out of service tax. We don't want to grudge those people, like those indulging in those pursuing the arts, culture, sport. They're out of the service tax net, fine. Quiz masters have to pay also. What to do? But on a more serious note, sir, the former Prime Minister had not exempted lawyers. Now, I have lots of lawyer friends who won't like this, but when the previous that's why my formula works, PC equals AJ, lawyers got exempted, and again, lawyers again have exempted of the service tax. So large companies, legal companies, are not paying service tax. The poor chartered accountants are paying service tax from October 2008. So our first clear suggestion is large law firms, diagnostic firms, huge diagnostic firms are not paying service tax. Please bring them into service tax. Our second observation, again, this is the PC equals AJ syndrome, which you could also express in a more boring way, saying the Congress equals the BJP syndrome. But let's look at another number, and this is for super rich surcharge. Trinamool Congress believes, yes, someone making more than 1 crore of money, you've levied a surcharge on that 1 crore of 10% surcharge. Good. The previous finance minister did it. But where we have issue is the previous finance minister gave us a number, 42,800 people across the country are earning more than 1 crore, so you levy the service charge. This time it was continued. Sir, 42,800 people, there are more people than that in South Extension or in West Andheri who are earning more than 1 crore. So please seriously look at this number, because this is a number which can go 4 or 5 times more than this. Sir, 3 quick points on personal tax. As I said, we are restricting all our comments today on the finance bill and not giving you some broad macro picture, which we finished in the budget. On the income tax, 2 to 2.5 lakhs, you've raised that to. And on the 80cc exemption, 1 to 1.5. So the approximate saving for the income tax in this bracket will be about 5,000 rupees. However, if the BJP themselves take a look at the standing committee recommendations of Yashwant Sinha ji, there itself, that standing committee talks about 3 lakhs for the first one, taking that up to 3 lakhs, and taking the 80C to 2 lakhs. We're optimistic that you didn't address it this time. Maybe February, March will be when middle class India is looking up to you. Interest on borrowed capital up from 1.5 to 2 lakhs. Very welcome. Quick point here on tax on debt-oriented funds. Now, the tax on debt-oriented funds, how did it work before this? If you had it for 12 months, you did not have to pay capital gains. Fair enough. Now that number has become not 12 months, it has become 36 months. Okay. We like something here, we don't like something here. What we like is the fact that you've taken it up to 36 months, because some corporates would be misusing this 12 months to avoid capital gains. If you want to penalize the corporates for doing this, you might want to, but you either have 2 options here. Don't penalize the individual who is using this. So the option may be, if individuals are allowed to do this, and give them the benefit of capital gains in 12 months, or you set a cap. Next point, sir, corporate social responsibility. We have a quick point here. 2% of corporate social responsibility, more than large companies earning 500 crores. Now you're not going to make that 2% tax-free. Good. What happens, and this is a key point, what happens to those companies not meeting your Company Act specifications, smaller companies? A company earning 1 crore, 1.5 crores, they want to make a contribution, maybe 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs. I think we are putting them off if we are going to tax that. Please consider, go ahead with your 2% tax for the big guys, but some company wants to give 10 ambulances, 4 pumps, he's making a profit of 10 lakhs, or he's not even making a profit. Please consider this. Do not tax that corporate social responsibility, because then people will be discouraged to do welfare. On indirect taxes, a quick point on indirect taxes. Now, central excise and service tax, if you make an appeal, all this time when you made that appeal, a precondition for appeal was not there. Now you've gone and made a precondition for an appeal, saying that when you make that appeal, you have to pay 7.5 or 10% upfront check. This is dangerous, because this will make the income tax officers, and there are many honest officers around, but this gives them an opportunity to kind of feel a little greedy. So don't put the precondition. So my last 2 points. One, we made these broad comments, some specific comments. One broad comment on tax, and that is tax culture. We would like to leave you with a thought that, there has to be a change and a perception in the way we look at tax. Otherwise, taxation today is still seen with a fear psychosis. I know in the 1970s, if you want 10 lakhs, 9,72,000 would go on tax. Today, if you want 10 lakhs, only 1,25,000 goes on tax. Very good. But there has to be a tax culture. You need to reward high-profile taxpayers. You need to avoid reward corporates. You need to make a big shoo-sha about it. You all are very good at running advertising campaigns, big ones which work successfully, I will agree. So please look at this tax culture, remove this fear psychosis. And the last point, sir, is if you're looking at models, we will tell you one model to follow, because no model is better than one where the numbers work. So one state in India had a tax collection in 2011 and 12. 2011 and 12, the tax collection was 22,000 crores. 11, 12, 22,000 crores. 2013-14, मैं बोल रहा हूँ, मैं भूल गया. 2013-14, from 22,000 crores, 2013-14, the figure is 40,000 crores. The increase is a whopping 87%. You ask me which state, 87% increase in the state of West Bengal under Mamata Banerjee's government. In spite of all the media bashing and the fiction, lots of great work is happening there, including this tax collection. Two ways we managed to do it for the state. One, e-taxation, and two, better compliance. This has worked in the state, and I'm sure it will work if put to test in the center. Thank you, sir.